Ah, yeah. Okay, anyways. Alright, going right into the match. This is going to be a match. This is going to be a PBT match from one of the CSL playoff games between I think it was Virginia Commonwealth versus Massachusetts Institute of Technology, commonly known as MIT. But we're gonna go into the match. I'm gonna give you the players. Not too sure on their stats. I really didn't check up that much on stats because if I checked the stats and then read everything, then maybe that would have given away the end result of this game, and I really don't want that happening. So I don't know which players for which. I think Fizz was actually for Virginia Commonwealth, so we'll see what happens. But of course, spawning on the left top position, Alter LE, it's going to be Fizz. Fizz playing as Pink Protoss on top left position. And of course, I'm gonna minimize that so that I don't see the time, blah blah blah, because you know I'm casting spawning on the bottom right position. Spawning as Green Terran is going to be Moki. Moki Green Terran on the bottom right position. A little bit more about this map. This map really isn't used that much anymore because it was made earlier during one of the earlier seasons. I think season 1 or season 2, and it's been the map pool for a long time. People have been saying, you know, this is a large map. We haven't been seeing that many interesting games. We see Zergs take up to like, you know, 5 bases really early on in the game, and it's just Zerg, Imba, blah blah blah. But people said this map needs to get cycled out. So some tournaments still use this map, but a lot of tournaments actually stop using this map. I'm not too sure if CSL will actually start using this map next season, but we'll see what happens. So Moki just being very standard with his play, just putting the supply depot down. He could of course wall it off with the barracks and then just play it really safe, just like how all the players do it. But really interesting fact about this map is that there's no ramp in the front, and this is actually why. So a lot of people really hated this map for PvP because 4-gate, 1 force field does not defend against the 4-gate, so it was actually hard to defend against those 4-gates. Fizz actually scouting right after the gateway, putting down the simulator for gas. Not too sure when this game was actually played, so I don't know about the metagame of PvT back then also, but putting down the second power seems like very standard play coming out from both players, so I'm going to expect to see some kind of macro game. No gas going down by Moki, so I think he's just going to go for 1 Rax FE. Fizz just checking out the right top position and saying, oh, he's not there, so I'm just going to head down. Now, how is Moki going to react? He's going to see the probe come out. Now, interesting thing that I see a lot of players miss is that, you know, this probe and the SCB went in the opposite directions. But the thing is that if they go in the same direction, then you know that the opponent's actually not on the top right base. For example, SCB is going out. SB is actually going outside of the ramp right here. If they were actually going in the same direction up the ramp, then it's better to just switch and then not scout that position at all. Command center going down by Moki, just going for 1 Rax FE, just like I said. Cybernetics core going down. Seems like Fizz is also going to do 1-gate FE at this rate, but however, can Moki see it in time and actually deny it with a supply depot? Can he actually do it? I don't know. Fizz just checking in, sees that there's no gas going on, so it's like, oh, my opponent's going 1 Rax FE, so I could put heavy pressure, or I could just expand myself. Moki does not react in time and does not see the gate nexus go down also, but with his vision, he sees no gas. He sees 1 gas being mined, no gas on no simulator on the bottom, so he's like, oh, okay, I think he just went for the 1-gate FE. Very standard play coming out by both players. Second barracks going down by Moki, and I would like to see the third barracks going down. Yes, the standard 1 Rax FE into the 3 Rax. Still no gas going, still no refinery going down by Moki, so his tech is going to be a little bit late compared to what I actually expected. I mean, his command center is going to finish up, and he's going to have a lot of minerals to pump out those marines, so unless he's going for really heavy marine pressure in the early game, he's not going to have his reactors. Oh, there he goes. Okay, so maybe I'm just a little bit off on timing. Maybe I just checked it a little bit too early, but yeah, I think it's slightly late. Nonetheless, he has the 2 gas going down, and then 3 racks. Very standard play coming out. Cybernetics core, the work get going on, and I always forget to put the production tab up because I'm a Brood War caster. Go Brood War. Fizz, of course, going for the second simulator. Not getting the additional 2 gates. Finally putting down the 1 gate and the 2nd gate. Yes, he is. So getting up to 3 gateways. 3 gateways. Nice timing there and getting the gas. So yeah, a lot of Marines. Only 5 Marines are on the field at this moment. Bunker going down. Let's see, 24 probes to 21 SCB. So worker count at this moment is very similar. 1 mule is also on the field. But with the Nexus being finished, Fizz can actually produce a lot of probes. And especially since he saw the no gas when he actually scouted, he knows that there's no 2 racks pressure coming out. Also poking him with the 2 stalkers. Needs to be careful. the bottom one actually loses some HP, so needs to be careful when poking in because, you know, 5 Marines. This is not Brood War. You can't face the 5 Marines because the Marines are actually pretty good in this game compared to StarCraft Brood War. Now you can also poke around to the right side and see if what Fizz has, what his opponent has, but he actually saw that Moki has a bunker, so he doesn't really need to scout around that much anymore. Stimpack getting research with the tech lab going on. Need to go back to production. Robotics facility going on because I always say robotics and then always screw that up. Warp gates being Warp gates being finished off. Factory going up by Moki. So yep, just a very standard play coming out by Moki. Fizz, I think his robotics timing was a little bit late, but it doesn't really matter as long as he doesn't get pressured anytime soon. And then I think he's just gonna go for the really quick Colossus, which was the norm back in the days. You just go for robotics and then you just quickly transition into Colossus, get like 2 or 3 Colossus out, and then go for a 3 Colossus push, or something like that. Or you could actually go for the robotics while also getting a Twilight Council for blink, or actually getting the Observer to scout your opponent. Forge going down at this moment. 2 Forges going down. Very interesting play because usually go for the Forge plays, especially usually when you go for the Twilight Council play, because you really want those armors and you really want the weapon upgrade and the armor upgrade for the charge lots. But I'm not really too sure about this decision because he has the 2 Forges coming up, but I don't see any additional tech being made here. I mean, look at this. Look at this. And meanwhile, Moki actually gets the starport up and then gets 2 medibricks out. Once you get those medibricks out, you get that 9 to 10 minute timing push coming out by the Terran, and then Protoss actually has to watch out during that time because, you know, even if they fail to actually deal damage to the natural, they could just drop in the main, just pull away. So starting from that moment, it gets really hectic for the Protoss player. And what do a lot of Protoss players do? Either one of 2 things: either go for really heavy pressure or get really early tech up. So right now he's getting the Twilight Council up. There it is. Twilight Council. Clicked on the pawn by accident. Twilight Council going up, but I think the Twilight Council is actually going to finish late because going for the Twilight Council means that you either want blink, charge, or your High Templars, and blink and charge will definitely not finish in time. Even if you get the High Templars out, you won't even have storm, so you need to use that against feedback. But in the meanwhile, 2 medibricks are already out, and Moki is already pushing up with a kind of scary army at this moment because right now Fizz has 47 pros, but only 4 Zealots, 2 Stalkers, so he really needs to put down amazing force fields to actually defend against this. However, he sees the units coming, so he's warping in a lot of units at this moment. Moki does have 2 medibricks, and I think it's better if he actually abuses a cliff a little bit here because he could just lift up, lift down really easy. But Moki in the meanwhile is just gonna scout around to the 3 o'clock position because he doesn't know that there's anything there. He also doesn't know that there's Nexus at the front, but I think he fairly knows that he's there. In the meanwhile, getting up to 5 barracks by Moki. Additional materials coming out, but getting up to 2 engineering base for the upgrade. I really like this play. But Fizz, in the meanwhile, while not having that many units, his upgrade +1/+1 already finished, so I think that's going to be good. But here's 2 medibricks drop. Very nice warping coming out by Fizz, and he'll be actually able to deny those 2 medibricks from dropping in. Goodbye! In the meanwhile, these sentries who are supposed to put down the force fields, oh, I don't have a job anymore. Charge getting researched by Fizz. Moki in the meanwhile getting up Moki's upgrade right now. So 0-0 by getting a +1/+1 at this moment. Armor going down so that he can get the +2. And what is Fizz gonna do? He's just gonna scout around to the left, sees that there's no medivacs there, so he seems like he's gonna take down the rock and then expand over there. He could either do one of two things. He could either just go for timing attack right now, but really it might be really accessible, especially since he didn't go for the Temple Archive. So he really needs. So I think the best decision at this moment is to take the dirt while playing really defensively. In the meanwhile, Moki just sitting around outside of the map with all of his units. I would like to see one medivac just go around to the top right side. Fizz having a... I would like to point this out. Fizz actually has a really nice observer position, except this area, because you have the observer on the right area, which will actually scout the medivacs going around to the right side and then into the natural. But right now, Fizz natural is pretty much empty, and Moki is gonna abuse it, so the natural expansion is gonna get taken down, but a lot of Marines are actually trapped with the charge that's supporting from the back. So what will Moki do? Is he just gonna try to face against this? No, he's just gonna load everything and then run away, but one medivac gets taken down, so 8 units plus one medivac actually gets taken down. In the meanwhile, how many pros have been taken down? Only 5 pros, so as long as he gets those 2 nexuses two Nexi. Is it Nexi or two Nexuses up? I think he'll be fine. In the meanwhile, Moki actually takes the third expansion by a little bit mispositioned because he was taking out the rock. Well, it's still only up to 5 barracks, but he has the +1 attack, getting the Ghost Academy. Very nice decision after seeing that after seeing that he was going charge on the Archon, so the Archon's getting morphed. But I would like to see him research Storm also. Look at that. He's not researching Storms. Even if you have the charge on the Archon, you really want those Storms because Storms are really good against bio units. It's one of the reasons why in StarCraft Brood War nobody really went for bio except for really weird cheeses, because one storm can kill all bio. In StarCraft 2, not as much because the medivacs heal almost everything and storms don't deal as much damage, but right now the observer that was on the right side is out of position and Moki's gonna drop yet again into the main. Fizz just reacting just in time, all the probes just running away, but Moki just destroying one pylon. Not really effective drop right there, because if he actually marched in, a lot of probes here, could have taken down the Forge, could have taken down the crucial Temple Archives. But no, he only destroys one pylon. Getting the Census Tower. He Census Tower for the right side for any possible counterattacks or what you call it, Warp Prism drops. I actually like the Census Tower position. Covers everything that goes to the right side. Sees few units going around, and once the timing attack hits here, if he actually denies the timing attack here, Fizz will actually have to go around and then try to attack to the third, but you'll see everything that's happening right outside. Really like the position. One Marine just scouting around. I don't know. Medevac's still alive on the left top side. In the meanwhile, Fizz's third is really oversaturated right now because all of his probes that were at the natural went to the third. Needs to put those probes back at the natural. Yes, there he goes right now. What is Moki sitting at right now? Moki's sitting at +2/+2, so he's doing really well on upgrades. In the meanwhile, Fizz is doing really well on upgrades. In the meanwhile, Moki only has +1/+1, but his is more standard timing, and I think Fizz was a little bit later, but he actually got the +1/+1 timing out when the medevac drops hit, so that was pretty good. Going for the fort, not so fast, says Moki, and drops all of his units in a weird position, like a upside down pot or something like that. So Fizz is just gonna poke in. It's like, where's the medevac? Where's the medevac? Where's the medevac? Where's the medevac? Medevac is not there anymore. Observer's still out in the position, but I would like to see the Observer getting put down. But look at this, just going for the drop play. After all of those units goes towards the fort, he knows that, oh, your units are not here, so I'm just gonna drop right here. And what is he gonna do? The Templar, very nice play coming out by Moki, actually sniping the High Templar before he could put down I was about to say hallucination. I'm stupid. Feedback on the medevac, so he could actually escape with his 6 Marines, and also while also trying to harass at a different location, so he knows that the units are. Does he know that the units are over there? I'm not too sure about this. Oh, just opting to go for the fort and getting killed by High Templar. Just trying to check that out. In the meanwhile, a lot of ghosts out, 9 ghosts out, and a few Marines and Marauders. Seems like he's gonna go for this attack if he can actually put down a large EMPs down, really evenly spread out, then I think he can actually attack this before the 3+3/+3 finishes, though, because he's actually getting Colossus out. Thermal Lance is getting finished up, so I think this is the one timing that he needs to poke in to actually gain some advantage, and then sees that there's actually and then actually engage at this moment, take out a lot of these units, and then once the Colossus comes out, I think he needs to pull back a little bit. +3 getting research for Moki, but since Moki actually knows about the fort, I think he could actually take that down really fast. And in the meanwhile, does he actually know about the Colossi coming out? Is the scan gonna finish? Is the scan gonna? No, he does not see the Colossus. I'm not even sure he was actually paying attention to that, but Moki's units are pretty much trapped down there. Nice EMPs going down. All the Protoss units, but he doesn't have that much units to actually deal against this. So it seems like Moki's Fireball will get crushed with all those medevacs going down, and the Colossi just doing a lot of damage. 5 kills on the Colossi, but just supporting a lot. +3/+3 already done for Fizz. So I think he could actually push out, especially with the fort being taken down. He can actually opt to take the fort, but since he has a lot of minerals and a lot of gas banked out, I think he can just max out really quickly and then just go for one timing push. But he only has up to 6 gateways, which is something that I really don't like. You're sitting at you're sitting up to 3 nexuses and you only have 6 gateways. There's a reason why your minerals sitting up high, and that's because your macros are lacking a little bit. I mean, compare that to your opponent. Your opponent has up to 11 barracks. So even if he loses a lot of his huge portion of his army, he could just remax really fast. Fizz, you really need to start putting additional gateways down, and then possibly a second robotics base to pump out those Colossus double time to actually deal against this Terran, because you know, you can actually deal with the Terran units, and then once you beat them, you could just push against them and then go for a win really easily. But that's only if you can back up your that's only if you can remax your army really fast with the 4 Apollon and then just attacking right after. So not too sure about this decision coming out from Fizz. Actually, finally getting the additional gateways out on the left top side. Seems like this is a replay, but it seems like he actually overheard me screaming. So additional 6 gateways getting put down, and I actually like that decision. Possibly a little more gateways, but you actually don't want to overcommit. But it seems like Fizz is just gonna poke in a little bit here. There's only one Viking, but there's only one Colossus in the bag, and all the Zals just know the High Temple is just not High Temple is just not storming well, and just listens to all of his army. He does all of his army. I mean, if you actually paid careful attention here, Fizz's army just attack in a conga line. Doesn't really happen that much in StarCraft 2 because usually it becomes ball versus brawl. But then Fizz's army, the Zals just went out of position, started attacking first. And then in the meanwhile, Moki actually spread out his bio units, one to the left and one small ball to the left, and then one other small ball to the right. So he was actually able to have a better engagement. And with all the Zealots being taken out, it was really easy for him to take out the main army. So right now, Fizz actually needs more time to max out. In the meanwhile, Moki just getting up to 182 supply, and then he's gonna max out really fast. The fourth and fifth is already up by Moki. While in the meanwhile, Fizz actually gets his fifth up, but needs to actually get more needs to actually start mining more. I mean, he's sitting in really high on minerals, 15k minerals and 1k gas. But Moki just doing a really nice job with macro. I mean, look at this, 100, only sitting at 3 digits with the minerals and gas, sometimes going down to 2 digits. So I would like to see Fizz add on more gateways and possibly 1 or 2 additional robotics to actually get those Colossus out really fast, especially after losing a battle like that, because Moki really remaxed really fast. 200, 177 by Moki, since he has a 200. Now it's his time to push out. Sees a scan, sees only 3 Colossi, no High Templars out, only 1 High Templar, but sees a tail, so he actually sees a High Templar out on the field. A lot of Zealots out on the field. How many Zealots are out there? 26 Zealots, but there's 3 nukes already. EMP is going down on all of those units with the cloak. No observer to actually see the ghost, but will he actually get the nuke down? I'm not even too sure about it. Blink going down, but offensive Blink is not really good. There's too many bio units by Moki, so I think Moki can actually push through. There's a lot of zones just getting more into this, so I think he might be able to defend against this, but with the Colossus being down, I'm not too sure about this. Moki just needs to target fire all those zones, and then he could just go into the main really easily, especially with 4 medivacs just sporting from the back. There's only 4 stalkers, but 1 Colossus gets made out in time. But can he actually deal with this? Oh, a nuke going down on Fizz. And does Fizz notice this? Fizz only sees a small red dot. But does he actually know about this? Yes, he does. And it actually pulls all of his probes away just in time to avoid the nuke. Boom. In the meanwhile, going for the third, so Fizz's army just stuck in the main, and he actually needs to go really fast. But Terran's army, they can attack really fast, especially taking down the buildings, especially with the medivacs. But needs to put the Sim down and then go for the Nexus, but it seems like he won't have enough time to actually take it down and just gonna run away. No Blink coming out by Fizz to actually take those down. But look at this. Your army is at 3rd. I'm just gonna hit the main. Says Fizz. I mean, Moki. Hit the main. Not gonna hit the main. Okay, still having only 11 barracks, but look at his beautiful macro. Sitting at 300 minerals, a little bit high on gas, but it really doesn't matter because his unit composition at this moment is pretty much pure Marine Marauder. A few ghosts here and there, getting up to 6 command center, and what? What? Nuke almost going down at the main, but no, every single one of them actually gets taken down. The medivac will also get taken down. What are you doing? Okay, in the meanwhile, 3 cannons at the at Fizz's natural, 63 probes, 74 SCBs. So Moki, of course, having a superior economy, but he's just pumping out a lot of units, and his macros been really good. His engagements, except for that one at right side of his natural, I don't think it has been that well. Except for the natural here, and then the almost game-ending battle here. His micro has been a little bit subpar. I would like to see better micro coming out by Moki in the future. But yeah, just gonna lose all of his army, especially with no medic supporting this. It's better if he just sacrifice all of this, but does not snipe the High Templar. High Templar in the meanwhile, but look at this. Even while losing a lot of units on the right at the 12 o'clock position, he still has 183 supply to Fizz's 147 supply. No Colossus out on the field. Is it still getting made? No, going for pure Archon. Actually, one Colossus out on the field, out on the way. My bad. Viking finally gets taken down, but more Archons coming out. A lot of these Vikings won't be really useful until the Colossi actually comes out. But it seems like Moki's actually going to go for the 9 o'clock position while also taking the expansion for himself. Nukes going down to actually prevent Fizz from actually pushing in, but Fizz knows that the nuke's out on the field, sees a red dot. Oh my god, no! Fizz, what are you doing? Don't walk into the red dot over there in the meanwhile. Fizz actually gets taken down, and additional nukes going down, defensive nukes going down, but it seems like that ghost is going to get taken down because there's no cloak. A lot of units are pretty much trapped right here. Feedback's going down on the medibacks, but Moki actually has enough units, and since he's sitting at +3, I think he actually takes down a lot of Zalas. Those Archons will actually do a lot of damage, and nice storm to finish off the bio, but he actually loses his fourth. His fifth had been taken down long time ago, and in the meanwhile, the command center taking the 7th base by Fizz. So I mean Moki. So Moki is in an amazing position. All he has to do is if Fizz decides to push out, all Moki has to do is defend his base. But Moki also doing a really nice job because he knows that his opponent doesn't really have that much army. I mean, look at this. He has a ton of Archons. 8 Archons, 5 High Templars, 1 Colossi. But that's not gonna do that much because there's no Zalos to actually support this army to actually tank in the front. And I think Moki, if he goes for one more push, I think he can actually end the game because Fizz right now, he's pretty much mined out at the 3rd. He's pretty much mined out the natural, so he really needs to keep this base up. But with this army, I'm not too sure if he can actually defend Moki from pushing out. And Moki, in the meanwhile, look at this. Beautiful saturation here. Almost mined out here, but he could just move all of his SCBs right there. Seems like he's doing that. He's also taking additional base behind this. High Temple going out, trying to get a stormed out, but no, sniped in the head. Headshot. Going down by Moki. Moki just having a nice reaction right there. Hallucination going down the field, but EMP's hit all of the Archons. The Archons' shields are pretty much down, and just migrating a little bit. Nice storm going down, but it's not going to be enough. No, Colossus gets taken down. All the Archons are disappearing from the field, and what does Fizz have to actually defend against this? 67 units out on the field, but only 54 probes and only 6 Zalas. Does he have enough minerals to actually make more units? No, it's not even that. 25 minerals at 400 gas, so if Moki just takes over this area, then the game's pretty much over. And Fizz, look at this, mined out here, taking an additional base here, but those 400 minerals I think could have been used better for 8 additional Archons or something like that. So Moki just going for the Nexus, and Fizz just trying to save all of his probes. It doesn't even matter if he saves all of his probes because he's really low in economy, and he really doesn't have enough units to actually deal against this. I mean, look at this. Throughout the whole game, Moki's macro have been pretty much perfect. I mean, he's making decision here and there. GG, well played, coming out by Fizz, and Moki is going to take the set for I don't know which team it is, but that's going to be it. What I was trying to say, I really like the play coming out by Moki. I mean, his engagements were a little bit terrible. His engagements were terrible sometimes here and there, and then his army was pretty much trapped half the time, especially with Fizz just trapping every single army. But he was actually pretty good. He was actually pretty good at making Fizz pay attention to multiple places at once, and Fizz wasn't actually able to follow everything because Moki was attacking the 3rd, and then pulled away from the 3rd. In the meanwhile, just going for the main yet again, pulls away from the main, attacks into the natural, and in the meanwhile, Fizz actually brought all of his army in all of those locations. So I think it would be much better for Fizz if he actually divided up all of his army just enough to actually defend against like 2 or 3 medevacs at each possible drop location instead of instead of following the Medivacs with his whole army, because if Moki actually decided to drop 3 places at the same time, then I don't think Fizz would have actually defended. Moki, having a lot of his units trapped by Fizz's army, especially with the charge loss just surrounding everything, had beautiful macro throughout the whole game. I mean, it's like, okay, I lost 20 units, but I already have 10 units out. Doesn't really matter because I had beautiful macro, and then he's been macroing pretty well after losing his whole army. I mean, he just gets up to like 180 supply really quickly. So I really like the play coming out by Moki. He was also his expansion timing was also pretty good because once he started mining out at the natural and the main, he started taking the 4th and the 5th, and then going for the 6th and the 7th. Was really beautiful coming out, and Fizz just did not. I mean, he had a huge army, but after he had a really good army, but after just conga lining into Moki's army once at right in front of Moki's natural, Fizz was just trying to come back into the game, but his economy did not support him at all.